Grab an apple or, any piece of fruit sitting in your kitchen right now. Have you ever actually stopped to think that our very survival is completely tied to the deeply ingrained instincts of one tiny buzzing insect? Well, today in this explainer, we're diving straight into the incredible, literal, world-changing impact of bees. And we're being guided by the really unique insights of author Oluyomi Ola-David. She put together some absolutely fascinating thoughts for World Bee Day. And what's cool is she doesn't just give us a standard science lesson. Instead, she connects the microscopic actions of these insects to a much, much larger conversation about gratitude, instinct, and the very design of our universe. It's a fantastic perspective, so let's just get right into it.
This all begs a pretty fundamental question. Do you know exactly how much of your daily food relies entirely on the willing instincts of a bee? Seriously, think about the meals you've had today. When we sit down to eat, we rarely stop to consider the invisible, buzzing workforce that actually made those ingredients possible, right? I mean, we tend to focus on the farmer, the grocery store, maybe the chef. But Oluyomi Ola-David challenges us to zoom way, way in, literally down to the flower, and acknowledge the sheer incredible dependency we have on these little creatures.
And she points out a really fascinating contrast here that I love. On one hand, you have the simple mechanical task of pollination, bearing pollens from stamens to stigmas. Mechanically, it sounds like a basic, straightforward biological task, right? Just moving pollen from point A to point B. But then she hits us with the biological reality. There are over 1 million known species of insects on this planet, and honestly, the vast majority of them couldn't care less about helping our crops grow. They are just out there living their lives completely unbothered by human agriculture. But the bee has been equipped with this specific, incredibly helpful instinct that drives it to do this exact monumental task. She really wants us to recognize that this isn't just a random accident. It's a specific willingness we absolutely shouldn't take for granted.
And this exact idea was the centerpiece for World Bee Day back on May 20th, 2023. The message from her is loud and clear. God save the bees today and always. This day isn't just about an insect in general. It is a full-on celebration of those specific, hardworking pollinators that successfully complete their vital mission day in and day out. It's really a day of recognition for the ultimate unsung heroes of our ecosystem, the ones who wake up every single day and just, get the job done. So what is the actual payoff for all this willing instinct? Well, to put it into perspective, a single bee might visit thousands of flowers just to help produce a literal handful of fruit. Oluyomi lays it out perfectly for us. We owe our fertilized plants, our fruits, our seeds, and our young plants directly to them. I mean, these are the foundational building blocks of all agriculture. Without the bees' relentless efficiency in transferring that pollen, this entire chain just completely breaks down. Our very survival is inextricably linked to the profound output of this tiny, hyper-focused workforce.
And this brings us to what I think is a beautiful, deeply philosophical takeaway from her. Nature and nurture inspire gratitude. It's such a powerful, simple sentence. When she looks at the natural world and sees how a tiny bee's nurturing of a single flower results in the actual food that sustains humanity, her immediate response isn't just cold scientific observation, it's immense gratitude. She uses this micro-level biological process to remind us that when we truly understand how the world provides for us, the only logical response is to be thankful.
Now, to truly appreciate this deep level of contemplation, we really have to look at the mind behind it. I mean, who actually stops to find a masterclass in global gratitude from a tiny insect? Let's look at Oluyomi Ola-David's own background. Understanding the unique perspective she brings to the table really helps us realize why she connects the dots between a buzzing bee and the much broader, complex themes of life. Her background is incredibly dynamic. She is proudly Nigerian, with a deep love for people, and her professional focus is actually on macro-level global development and transformation. She is someone who really enjoys generating massive solutions, influencing policy and strategy, and providing clarity on incredibly complex issues. And honestly, this is what makes her contemplation of the bee so fascinating to me. Here is someone whose daily focus is on huge, large-scale human systems and global policies. Yet she has the deliberate, quiet focus to stop, zoom all the way in, and analyze the strategy and efficiency of a tiny pollinator. She is taking her passion for clarity and solutions and applying it directly to the natural world right in front of us.
And this worldview is anchored by a very powerful personal belief. She writes, "My Father God owns and rules the universe. He is the wheel within my wheels." This quote right here gives us the ultimate context for her writings. Her perspective is firmly rooted in her faith. For her, there's a direct, inspiring line connecting the grand, sovereign design of the entire universe all the way down to the micro-actions of a single instinct-driven bee. She sees profound purpose at every single level of existence, which is exactly why she finds such deep meaning in the simple, everyday act of pollination. As we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with a bit of a challenge, a question to chew on. After seeing the incredible, literally world-sustaining efficiency of the bee, and hearing Oluyomi Oladavid's beautiful call for gratitude, how are you going to view these simple tasks in your own life today? The next time you bite into a piece of fruit or, tackle a seemingly mundane chore at work, remember her insights. Remember that immense, world-changing value often comes from the quiet, willing execution of simple, everyday tasks. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and I hope this fresh perspective brings a little more clarity and definitely a little more gratitude into your day.